Hi, I'm Kylie, co-owner of Freedom Vans. Welcome to our video about power systems. This is really meant for our clients so that they can get just a little bit reminder about how their systems work. I know our tours are very long. I remember every single one of them. I promise I remember you when you give me a call. And there's so much information, so I might not even cover it all in this video. You know, mom of two, pretty new second-time mom, so my brain, I forget things. But hopefully I cover this all. If not, let me know and we'll do a little update video. So this is very standard system for us. 400 amp hour lithium battery bank with a 3000 watt inverter, shore power, engine alternator charging, and solar. So we usually put our power systems on the driver's side garage area. If we have a split type AC system, that will be over on top of that side. Custom builds are a little bit different, of course. We have a lot of custom builds. So inside of here, so let's start with your inverter. This runs all of your AC power. So your AC power is what runs, so you need the inverter to be turned on to run your outlets, your underbody fan, your hot water heater, your microwave, your induction cooktop, and those all are ran through to an AC distribution panel. If you have the 3000 watt inverter, some of our earlier 2000 watt models don't have the AC distribution panel, but that's pretty much become standard practice for us at this point. And that's basically like a breaker system for all of your large appliances. So the inverter gives power to all of that. If you sequentially run things that equal up to over 3000 watts, then the inverter will not be able to run that and it just resets. No big deal. Your inverter definitely needs lots of ventilation. It'll get hot for doing that. But it will turn off. You just come back here, turn it back on. If you have an inverter button switch, turn that back on. No big deal. The inverter does consistently run power, so if you're worried about power, you can turn it off. I think it uses about 1 amp per hour, so for these large lithium battery bank systems, not a big deal, especially if you have solar. It's trickle charging the system. If you have shore power, lots of ways to charge your system, and we'll talk about that. This big black button, and in some of our older models it could be red, is the master on-off switch. And you turn that off and that basically turns off the power to the batteries, so that's good if you're servicing your system, you want to turn that off. You also want to make sure that the breakers to your solar are turned off so that charge isn't going to your batteries while you're using them. And then if your solar ever stops working, you want to go check the fuse or breaker, make sure that's turned on or reset it. And then so specifically in this van, we do have like the shunt, the breakers, the charge controller, all of her power system items are in this enclosure. You won't have to use them very often, but if you do, that's usually where they are. A little bit about the batteries. They have a 10-year warranty. They're supposed to be able to cycle for 15 years. Battleborn Batteries is the company that we use, and they're wonderful. They have great customer service. As far as our warranty goes, we have a 2-year warranty on our craftsmanship. So like how the batteries are installed, how they're ventilated, that's all covered by our warranty. If a battery goes bad, that's covered by Battleborn's batteries warranty, and we'll help you through that process, but ultimately that's who's going to be warranting your battery. And same goes for the inverter and all of the components. Yeah, let's talk about charging. So 3 ways to charge solar. So you do have a solar charge controller, which is speaking to your battery monitor, or I recommend having the app Victron Connect, and which really gives you all the information about the solar. The battery monitors really actually just monitors the batteries. Victron Connect integrates your whole system and gives you all the information about how things are charging, how much charge you have coming in from where, how much charge is going out. In some of the newer vans, we even have a connection to your starter battery, and you can monitor your starter battery from there too. So that's a really good resource. That's not in all of the vans, just so you know. It's just in a few of them actually. And then we have shore power. So your shore power is a 15 amp plug-in. So that's just a regular extension cord that you can plug into your regular home outlet, 110 outlet or 120. And then the shore power plug is 99% of the time located underneath the bumper right here. And you just push that in. If that's not working, you want to check the fuse for the shore power. One thing about the shore power, so it charges at 60 amps per hour. And when you're running like an AC with that plugged in, we definitely recommend just pulling less than 60 amps per hour while you're charging, just because when you run a larger item like an AC that's pulling more power than what it's charging, it could create a lot of heat in your power system enclosure. It could blow the fuse to the shore power. Not the end of the world, it's all built for that, but you don't want to consistently do that because it's a big load on your power system. The shore power charges the batteries, puts in 60 amps per hour, and that's great. We do that when our van's at home. We'll turn on our shore power. As far as storing your van and your HVAC system goes, we'll talk about that more in another video about HVAC, so make sure to check that out. Let's go ahead and go inside and talk more about the control panel in there. Here's an example of outlet. So this is AC outlet. This needs the inverter to run. This is a DC outlet. These outlets pull power directly from the batteries, and so they don't have to go through the inverter. Your inverter does not need to be on. So you get an adapter, that a USB or USB-C adapter, whatever technology that you have, and plug this in here, and then you can charge lights and your phone and any sort of USB item from there. And then these are our switches on dimmers. This is an electrical conduit, so all the power that runs from your power system to your control panel is all right here in this electrical panel or electrical conduit. Over here, this is where our control panel is. So this is our underbody fan and heater, which we'll talk about in our HVAC video. And then this is our battery monitor. I think the most important thing about this screen is the percentage. So right now it says 98.1%. We were just driving around doing video work, and we've got a lot of sun today, so the batteries are pretty charged. This is the LTE booster, so this should be pretty simple. You just flip it on and then it boosts your LTE, so that's cool. We just do the on-off switch, so you're not always boosting. You can disconnect from the grid a little bit. The LTE booster will not create service for things like that. We're installing Starlink a lot for people who need internet, who need to create a service. But the LTE booster will boost your bars that you do have. So it'll go from 1 to 3 bars. Back to the battery monitor. So most important thing is the percentage. Your batteries can go all the way down to 10%. They have a built-in battery management system. It would be really difficult to destroy those batteries. I'm sure there's ways to do it, but it would be hard. And I don't think you're going to do it with the systems we have in place. So if those go into recovery mode, they're just going to shut down and go into recovery mode until they get a charge. No big deal. If the batteries go below 27 degrees, you can still continue to pull power from them, but they won't accept a charge. So they might go down into recovery mode. And then once they warm up, they'll be able to accept a charge again. You'll be able to charge them up. There are heated battery options. So some people, if you have the heated battery, that monitors itself all on its own, and so it basically has a little built-in heater, and if the temperature drops between 27, the heater kicks on, keeps the battery warm, and you can continue to use your system. So that's popular with their skiers. You can scroll through here. You can see how many amp hours you're using, how many watts you're using, how many volts your batteries are at, all that good stuff. But Victron Connect will definitely give you much more information. One thing I see sometimes will be like, it says my batteries are 100%, but my batteries keep shutting down. So when the batteries shut down, when they turn back on, the battery monitor will just say 100%. You actually have to charge it all the way back up to 100% for it to kind of relink and start draining again. And give you a thorough readout. So that's all that is. And you can see that that's happening when you check the app. We talked about shore power. We have an automatic relay for when you're driving. So basically, after you've been driving for 30 seconds, your relay kicks on, it connects your house battery system, and then it'll start charging your batteries up. That's the fastest way to charge your batteries. And then you have solar. So our solar arrays can be anywhere from 200 watts to almost 800 watts, just depending. We'll maximize your roof, and you can find that information in your manual. The solar array is the slowest way to charge your batteries, but it's running all the time. So you're all, like, even if it's cloudy, you're still getting some sort of charge. And you can really, I remember when I first moved into the van with Tom, Tom's so geeky about it, right? He was monitoring the batteries, and we had AGM batteries, so you really had to monitor them. He was monitoring it, the solar coming in all the time. He'd tell me these numbers. So cool. We'd be at float, which means you're fully charged, by like noon every day in Colorado. So great. Washington, it's like a luxury when we see float. It's really exciting here. So if your batteries are at float, that's great. That means your batteries are fully charged. And just get to know your app. Have fun with it. Have fun with seeing like how cloudy it's out, how many watts come in, how sunny it is, how many watts are coming in. It's kind of fun to monitor. More recently, we've started adding this to vans, but some vans do have a Jumpstart button on the driver's side seat base, and you basically, if the van, your starter battery is dead, you can hold the Jumpstart button, and that will connect your two systems, and you'll be able to start your starter battery and jump it from your lithium battery bank. So that's pretty cool. One last thing to talk about. The different vans have them in different places. This is probably your most standard location though, is the fuse block. So this is for your DC items. So you can see our lights, outlets, toilet fan, vent fan, light bar, all of that is all fused, and right there. Your manual does have all your fuse information, and a little guide for that, so definitely check that out. All right, well, thanks so much for following along on our electrical system tour. Let me know if you have any questions. We will definitely do a follow-up to this tour at some point. Okay, thank you. Bye.